Hello everyone and welcome back to Zoodesia Zoo! We are here in the first floor of the staff lounge with our security team cats, Major Calhoun and Captain Kaz, the parents of many proud kittens who happen to be spread throughout the zoo to protect us from creepers. Absolutely awesome kitties. And we are actually getting ready for a pretty nice day, but I noticed we had some company. Some unexpected company. Wearing a leather hat. And, I mean, I've got my still leaf armor, but I put everything away. Hey, back off. But I had put everything away so that we could just have a nice tour day. And I never expected to run into a freaking zombino. That's right, get out of here. I'm gonna punch you to death. Nope. Trying to get to my kids. Get back. Get back. So, note to self, season 2. We will make sure we'll have security guards. I think we'll finally get some security guards trained. Scatter them throughout the zoo exhibits, because that's just common safety. Hey, you jerk. Why aren't you dead yet, huh? Oh, there he goes. And he took my butterfly bush with him. Rude. Hello, puppies. Don't worry about that. Sorry he didn't drop any food for you guys to eat. But yes, we'll have security guards. We'll have little checkpoints. We need to have lots of benches, all sorts of things in the future that actually designate more of a zoo. We've gotten so caught up in learning how to Minecraft, learning how to run our entire establishment, that I've really neglected some of those basic things, as many of you have pointed out, such as restrooms. So in the future, we'll definitely make sure we have some restrooms and things like that put in. But we're going to pick right up where we left off at the berry bakery, where we've got chickens hanging out in our trees, being cool tree chickens. I like it. But we looked over a really awesome, absolutely beautiful duck pond and its beautiful memorial garden. And then we're coming over here, and I forgot to point out the plant sorting shed. So this is our world tour, just to remind you guys, we're going all around the world to see the things we have built and worked on in the last 500 episodes. Pretty darn proud about that. And one of the things that I've always been super ambitious about, but never quite been able to pull off, has been the plant sorting system. There are several hundred types of plants and fruit and harvestable plants inside of our world, and I was overwhelmed with trying to keep them all sorted by memory. So the goal was to build a big plant sorting system shed, and then we would separate each different type of plant, and from there I would take the plants and make custom greenhouses. So instead of just having the 2 or 3 greenhouses we have right now, the dream is to one day have greenhouses all over the zoo that will have unique items, unique stories, books and NPCs who will tell you about the ecology of those kinds of areas. It'll also have the plants, like a little greenhouse spot for them and a storage spot for them. And so far I pretty much only separated a handful of the desert plants. And as you can see, nothing else is organized and everything is jam-packed to the gills. To the gills, I say! And yeah, so I never really got the plant sorting system off its feet, but that's definitely one of the very big things we're going to be working on come season 2, because look at this! Look at this mess! And this is just this is just one collection of the plants. That's not even, I would say that's not even a fourth of all the plants that are actually in the game. So very important to keep that in mind for the future. Also, I'm going to pick some snowberries so we have a little bit of food while we walk around. I have never had snowberries, so if you have had snowberries, let me know if they're even edible, or am I eating something that's toxic? Who knows? Another interesting thing we totally never got around to doing in the first season of Zoo Crafting is actually getting a entrance built to our zoo. And I think it's because I had this grand, mega, big idea of an entrance in my head. So I kept putting it off, waiting until I had the skills to build it. And now I know, you know what, you just have to go for it. You just have to build your entrance and stick to your guns. And if you don't like it, you can always take it down and try again. So next time we'll try to find a proper entrance, which begs the question of how would people get to our zoo? Probably teleportation stones, so we'll keep that in mind. And then of course we have our little rabbit area. This is our wild rabbit area, one of the very first places that we built here in the new world. And it has been plagued with so many problems. These little hopping, adorable Mo Creatures bunnies. And right now we have Fluffers, Bonkers, no! Pinky? Yeah, Pinky and Lord Zorg. So we've got quite a few of them in here, but they're not supposed to be here. They, they're all like rescue bunnies, basically, is what I'm saying. Because if you pick up a bunny in this world, it immediately loves you so much that it wants to be with you forever. And that's why we ended up with so many of these Bun-Buns. I will say, however, I am very proud of their exhibit. It has evolved over time. They are very good jumpers. So it used to be that they would jump straight out of the exhibit. We cleared away some trees, we cleared away some little hills, and then we managed to keep them in the exhibit. And then they would climb up the waterfall and escape out the back of the waterfall. So we figured out how to cover the waterfall up with a bunch of leaves, which kept them inside of the exhibit, only to find out that unfortunately ogres appear to love eating bunnies. And so we've lost like several groups of bunnies from ogres coming in and eating them. So next time we will have the staff lounge, or training our staff members in like various forms of kung fu and animal defensive arts, so that they can make sure that none of our little animals get eaten again. But that was fun, and this is actually where the duck pond used to be, and we were going to turn it into a bee area. In fact, I think I even put down a sign, Educational Beehive Flower Garden. I need to do this more, so when I walk around, it helps me plan out what we're building and where we're going. But yeah, Educational Bee Flower Garden. That's definitely something we'll be adding in the future to our zoo. There's a bazillion things we'll be adding to our zoo in the future. Oh, and then do you guys remember back when we started our very first NPCs? That was with our azalea shop. I wanted to somehow, like some way to buy some azaleas. They're very beautiful. I really like them in real life as well. And we just couldn't find any. And that's because we hadn't searched far enough yet. But, you know, we couldn't find any. They weren't showing up. And finally, I built a little shop. And it's a very cute little shop. Hello, how are you doing, Spots? And Christina has unfortunately vanished. We will get her back, don't worry. She was our very first NPC to join the world. You can trade azaleas and dirt and saplings and things that she needs to grow her azalea flowers with her, or cat food, which she was also very appreciative of. She even had a little diary right here that you could crack open and kind of take a peek at. Dear Diary, I started working at my new shop today. I'm so excited. It's a wonderful place to be. I get to grow so many flowers too. Should you be reading this? It's private. So yeah, we'll add little details like that all over the place as well. But yeah, ever since the time warping issues that went down, NPCs, animals, everything just randomly vanishes. So it's been a little tricky keeping everybody in place. Working hard on trying to get everything just to hold on a little bit longer though. Coming down here, we do have our absolutely beautiful and recently expanded and added to like Whitetail Deer exhibit with Thicket and Bramble, the baby fawns who are so cute. We do have Bambi. Let's see, that's not Bambi. Bambi's got antlers. Oh, there he is. He's hiding back there. But we have Bambi, and he has a whole little herd of beautiful females that he tends to. They've got quite a few bed straws, rutabagas, berries, all sorts of yummy things to eat. And I think I saw, there she is. There's Tulip, our little forest bunny that we got for Easter. And she actually was in the races, and Thor is somewhere in here with her. But I love it. We set up like special little branches. So we've got some arching branches. This is probably one of my favorite deco items inside of the exhibits. We've got quite a bit for them to eat. Hello, Bun-Buns. Oh, looks like the snails and slugs and fireflies are roosting under the tree there. That tells me that it's probably a healthy ecosystem in here if they're keeping everything breaking down and like well taken care of. I wonder where Thor is. Because I saw Tulip. So Thor, who's actually Calf's forest rabbit, must be around here somewhere, but I don't see him just yet. I'm hoping that those two would be willing to have some adorable, there you are, oh my gosh, isn't it the cutest thing in the world? I love it. I love it when like she decides to try climbing up on this little piece. Oh, it's just so cute. But yeah, so Thor must be around in here somewhere, but I like how big we built this exhibit because it ended up being able to accommodate new additions. And that's kind of one of the things that we need to think about in the future too, is when we build our exhibits, I feel like the bunny exhibit is way too small. The cougar exhibit was way too small. We managed to expand our wonderful Naomi's exhibit. We have our big tree, big decorative tree that we built there. I've gotten much better at building trees since then. But yeah, we expanded Naomi's exhibit quite a bit because it used to be she just had like this little area kind of down where Keeper Adelaide is, and it was just that spot and you couldn't really see her, which isn't good for the zoo guest. And you know, she just didn't seem to be a very happy cougar. So we broke the ground and opened up this area and added a lot to it, and I like that. So we're gonna have to really keep in mind about where we could add extensions to exhibits in the future, because I want to make sure all of our animals have plenty of room. Potentially we can make multi-species exhibits if appropriate. I don't think you want to be in this particular exhibit free range hen. I mean, you're a free range hen. You can live the life that you feel you are entitled to live, but I really, well, don't look at me like that. I was breaking the egg to see if you had a chick inside. I really was. And if you had a chick, then it would be able to keep you company here. And you could tell your chick, don't go in there. That's the cougar exhibit. You're going to get eaten. But yeah, I really like how this exhibit turned out. Ah, rain. Let's go sleep. And it reminded me how important it is to make big exhibits. I think next time we'll probably err on the side of making a really big exhibit because we can work around that. We could even like split it for a while. Ah, there we go. Whew, nice and dry in here. Meow, I hear you, Nightlock. I hear you. Come here. There's a good bed. There's our Nympsias. That's you guys, our little Nympsias. But yeah, next time we'll definitely focus on building exhibits that are big to start with. So these are kind of like Zoo Pointers 101. There we go, perfect timing. I remember when our house didn't even have a pathway up to it, and I was just like having to climb the blocks, like climb a little cliff every time to get into our bedroom. Man, that was a while ago. Oh, but actually, also over here, we will be doing more things in the future, I think, where we just put decorative trees and decorative gardens. This was a very good idea to make decorative gardens, because then when we're just running around doing things around the zoo, taking care of the animals, trying to prepare things for the guests, we can also stop and pause and get some of the resources that we really need, because then we turn around and we trade these strawberries or we turn them into food, and that helps us on down the road. Like these pears. Now that I know that there is a gentleman to trade pear juice to, you know, I'm picking these every time. Toss them in the presser when we have half a second, and then voila, just like that we can keep the constant flow of trade coming in. And we're going to really expand the Village of Light trade season 2 as well. And of course our beautiful little flower area, where like it looks gorgeous and simple now, but you guys remember how many times we had to go on expeditions to collect enough flowers just to be able to decorate this area with some themed flowers. That is how careful and critical you have to be about your details, you know? Oh, but it is so lovely. I really do like it. Oh, we missed a spot. See what I mean? All of the adventuring, all of the wandering around that we've managed to do, and we still didn't have enough flowers, but hopefully having a plant sorting shed in the future will really help that out. And you know, there's just evidence of like attempts at starting some beautification projects around the zoo, like adding some more lamps, adding a little bit of like epitites and lanterns. Things like a bench would be perfect here, and maybe an educator podium where we could put Keeper Adelaide up here and she could talk to guests. Those kinds of things we'll be paying much closer attention to in the future, because it just, for some reason, it just slipped my mind. And then as we're doing this tour, I'm like, oh yeah, I should have done this, this, and this. For example, finishing up, finally, the task of sorting through all of these plants. This is our original plant sorting shed from the very first world, when it wasn't even a proper shed because it was just a bunch of chests like clustered together. And it's still, to this day, full of plants. Half of them, in fact, pretty much every single plant you see here, and that dirt too, left over from the old world. And I just haven't had time to sort these. So we will make the time. We will make the time. Also pathing. Pathing turned out to be amazing. We added paths to our zoo, and it just changed everything. It was like the game changer. You could just feel the place become more official. So the exhibits are vital. The paths actually turn out to be very vital as well to give it that official look. And then it's just very important to go back over it with like a fine-tooth comb and make sure that there's comfortable areas for the guests to relax, to eat, to have facilities to use. There's educators so that this can be a truly educational experience, not just a building experience, not just a crafting experience, but I want people to be able to come or visit, or even just when we're running around the zoo, to stop by and talk to Keeper Adelaide, for example, and tell you guys, did you know cougars have multiple names? They're also known as catamounts and panthers. You know, those kinds of things. It's vital just to keep that constant undertone of education and animal welfare well known. Oh, and before we leave this area, yay, I love this little pathway. It's a very beautiful bridge. Yogi's enclosure, from which we had multiple escapes from any black bear we put in here. You think this looks like perfect black bear exhibit, right? It's gorgeous. It's got a waterfall. It's got a tree for them to relax in. It's got all sorts of wonderful berries for them to eat. It's got a little stream down here. It's got all sorts of beautiful flowers. It has really, 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 really cute little snails. Look at you guys. How are you guys up there? Is this like hinting at how Yogi constantly escapes? Look at this. Guys, it's like some like very cute little floating insects going on right there for some reason. But yeah, we constantly have escaping issues going on in here, and we just never sat down to figure out how the bear was escaping, and never even sat down to build like more proper entrances. If you've ever watched Zoo Tycoon 2, if you've ever seen our series on that, which is what the entire zoo crafting series is based on, or if you have ever just played Zoo Tycoon 2, you know you have to have multiple entrances for your staff to the exhibits, or else you can't take care of them. But yeah, I mean, it's so funny because the temperate forest area is the very first area we got started on, and it's still unfinished, and I don't intend for that to be the case next time. I don't intend for season 2 to let us have unfinished exhibits, to not have educational tidbits scattered everywhere. That's going to change. We're definitely going to make sure that we have that kind of wonderful education integrated into everything. And let's go ahead and visit one of our newer additions, the bird aviary, which I think was built incorrectly because every bird we put in there tends to suffocate in walls. So it seems like we cannot use this kind of glass for some reason, or something. There was just something weird in here where the crows are the only ones canny enough not to end up. See, look at him. You're not even inside this building. What is going on here? How did you get in there? How did you get in there? Okay, we might be solving a mystery that will help us with reconstructing this thing. Are you like over here? Okay, interesting. Do you need like freedom? Does that help? Hang on, I'm gonna see if I can free you, my little friend. There you go. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay, I think he almost had it. There? He's thinking about it. He's like, I'm trying to fly free, help me. Oh, there we go. And he just like ends up in another spot, but he looks a little bit more comfortable up there at least. So yeah, apparently not even the crows inside of here have done very well, even though Ethan has been doing his best all of these months to try to watch over and take care of the animals. We just have the chickens who seem wary about things. So it's a beautiful, absolutely gorgeous area that's completely lacking in birds. So that goes to show you, you can build this, like, this took days and days and days to build this big, beautiful area, but if you didn't build it right, your animals aren't going to be okay. So next time we'll do testing to make sure that, like, how can we make a greenhouse that will keep the birds safe so we can build an aviary, and then we'll make sure the aviary is properly built. And that'll be the same with any other creatures we add in too. And of course we have the little suites, the suet sort of things that we put in, where there's like little item frames and we put the seeds and the flowers in, which is so fun. There's a little nest everywhere. There's some more pears. See, this is what I mean, just going around doing our normal everyday zookeeper activities. And now we can gather up these pears and we'll press them later. And voila, have a little bit more money from the Village of Light, just like that. But there's several wonderful donator trees in here. We've got the tree that Ethan planted. He actually is the one who got not only the NPC and the tree, but, oops, Daisy. I broke the NPC, yeah, there we go. But the little pond, which none of the birds have drowned in, thankfully. Anymore. They used to, and you guys helped us fix that. We actually have Bob's old tree. So this is Bob III's very first original old tree that he had his little house in, and it was the same tree that he got struck by lightning in. I believe he got struck by lightning just before we built the bird aviary. It was very dramatic. And we also have a tree in here planted by Sophie, a finch fantasy tree. Very beautiful. And I think, I'm going to double check. Yeah, I think that's all the trees planted in here for now. But yeah, so this was very fun. It's beautiful. It's a lesson in architecture for admiring how you can mix together different chiseled items to make something glorious. It's a lesson in letting the trees grow first and building around the trees with the greenhouse, not vice versa. And it's also a lesson in doing some testing on your builds before you put animals in, because then they get like suffocated to death and you have no idea why. So we'll be very careful in the future, and I am very appreciative that even though this was kind of disappointing, the way it sort of like unraveled at the seams and our animals just were never okay in here, and occasionally the birds would escape. So next time we need to have like a double door sort of thing, the way real zoo aviaries do, so that the birds don't just fly out over our shoulder as they have many times in the past. I'm glad for the lessons we learned here. And Ethan, one day soon we will get you some proper finches. He's like, oh, just listen to that song. Oh dear, Ethan's like going mad because he wishes he had his little birds in here. So we'll get him his birds in the future. And for now, we're going to be grateful for the lessons we learned while building this greenhouse and move on to check the rest of the zoo and the rest of the world, and I will see you guys then. Bye-bye.